Alright, so today is section 1.2. Last class, we had this blob of data, and we spent the whole class figuring out where the center is. This class, we're going to talk about how spread out the blob is. Is it really tightly compressed, or is it really spread out? And believe it or not, this is a very useful statistic, because at the end of the semester, we have the strongly agree forms that you guys fill out, right? You check strongly agree for everything. Well, after that, I get a report explaining how I did. And a lot of professors, the first thing they look at is the average, the mean that they got. Well, I would argue that that isn't the best one to look at. Instead, it's what we're going to talk about today, which is how spread out the blob is. Because think about it. If I teach this class, and I have a bunch of people who get A's and a bunch of people who fail, and people spread all the way in between, that means I'm communicating, assuming all of you are randomly selected and equal, roughly, in your abilities. That means that I'm teaching to one group of people extremely well, and the other group I'm not teaching to at all, very well at all. However, if you're all tightly compressed, even if you all get 70s, but you're all right around that, that means I'm teaching to each of you the same. Each of you is getting me just as well as everyone else is getting me. I just might be a hard professor. That's why, the grades are a little bit lower. So, we're going to talk about spread the data and how this is important. And I brought in some show and tell to go over this. All right. So, this is a steel animal trap. Who can tell me what kind of animal we trap with this? Yes. Yes, this is a wolf trap. Very good. So we'll roll for your point. This is a Victor number 4 wolf trap. It is a real wolf trap. It exerts 150 pounds of pressure on impact. It is not a magic trick. I had someone once that thought it was a magic trick. I had it all set. They ran up, they stuck their hand in it, and got seriously injured. This is a real wolf trap. And no, it's never been used to trap an animal. It never will be. I use it for helping people overcome mental blocks. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to set it. Does anyone have a pencil they want to donate? You'll never get it back again. Oh, you have a pencil? Awesome. I'll get it back to you, it'll probably be in pieces. Okay. Awesome, thank you. All right. So I'm going to put this on the floor and set it and put it back up on the desk, so you don't have to move to see what's happening. All right. Pull this back so we don't hit the spectators at all. All right, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to stick this pencil that was donated in the trap, so you can see that it's really a real trap. I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to stick my hand in it. And then we're going to talk about what that has to do with statistics. All right? Eraser first. All right, so here's your pencil back. Good. Okay, so I told you I teach something called neurolinguistic psychology. I work with a lot of athletes to help them with their mental component of their game. Because a lot of times they are limited by what they can do by their mind, not by their body. So, normally when I do this, I do it when I'm teaching it as a self-help type class. I do it differently than when I'm going to do it for you guys. I'm going to tell you ahead of time why I can stick my hand in this and it won't hurt. Well, it hurts a little bit, but it won't cause damage. So this wolf trap is designed to catch wolves, right? So think about what's going in this trap. Their leg, which the bone is about this big on. So this is designed to exert 150 pounds of pressure on impact at 1 inch of width. So when these are 1 inch apart, that's when it's exerting the 150 pounds. So as it's out here, it's not very many pounds, and as it gets closer, the poundage goes up and up and up and up. So if I stick my hand in it, my fist, that's quite a bit wider than 1 inch. Okay? So when I'm working with these athletes, especially like when I worked with the LPGA golfers, I show them this, I put it on a metal tray or a metal chair, it makes a lot more noise that way. And I say, okay, you're going to stick your hand in this. There's no way I'm doing it. I'm a professional golfer. If my hands are my life, I'm not going to do that. Well, it's not going to hurt. So then I explain it. I go through the whole thing. I stick my hand in. Usually I stick my hand in first. Then I explain it. And they still have the hardest time in the world doing it. And why? Because it's not going to hurt their hand. It's all in here, right? They are being limited by their minds, which is, especially in a sport like golf, is a huge problem. All right, let me reset this and then stick my hand in it. If I can reset it, that is. There we are. Okay. Everything I have is curable, so if you get some splatter, you're all set, okay? Only had to go to the hospital once for this, so that was a joke. Yes, I have no more energy. All right, here we are. Is there anyone squeamish in here at all? Are you? No? Okay. See? Mind. No, I've done this a million times. It's not that big of a deal. It is for you guys, though, because every time I do it, it's like you're hanging on a string. No one's videotaping this for you. It's on YouTube, by the way. And there's also a Facebook. I did a lecture to a group of teenagers in Utica, and they have a Facebook page. It's like, I stuck my hand in a wolf trap and survived, or something like that, with a whole bunch of people in it. All right, here we go, for real this time. So the black is just the oil off the thing, but as you can see, still fully functional. Now I will tell you this, my next class will use this hand, and my third class will use this hand slightly rotated, because if it hits the same spot 3 times in a row, then my hand tends to swell up quite a bit. All right, so what does this have to do with statistics? Well, we talked a little bit about the fact that this is striking that wolf's foot at 1 inch, right? So when things are manufactured, there's fluctuation in everything that's manufactured due to randomness. You know, random fluctuations in the machinery and everything. This is where quality control comes in. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a bit. But all of these, even though they're rated, and they're not exactly rated at 150 pounds, but somewhere around there. We're just using 150 pounds for the sake of this. But let's say this is supposed to strike at 150 pounds. They're not all going to strike at 150 pounds. Some are going to be a little bit below that. Some are going to be a little bit above that. That's the spread of this blob. However, if that spread is too big, these could be worthless. If instead, let's say it only struck at 100 pounds, the wolf's going to put its leg in there, it's going to be really upset, it's going to yank, and it's going to pull it right out. It's probably going to injure itself, it's going to end up walking away injured, probably won't survive because of infection and all that. That's no good, obviously. The other thing is, what if this was like super strong? Well, it could like the pencil, it could literally just break right through the wolf's foot, which then it would still yank out and still walk away and end up dying also. So from a trapper point of view, which I'm a firm believer that professors shouldn't ram their beliefs down the students' throats. So I'm not ramming anything down your throat. I just don't personally believe in these. But it comes in handy for the classes that I'm teaching. So for the person who's actually using this to trap the animal, they want it right at 150 pounds of pressure so that they catch the animal that steps in it. So this blob has to be fairly tight. so that the animal doesn't escape, or the stats professor doesn't escape from it.